Hi, welcome back to the Studio of Art by Wendy. Today I want to talk about lights and darks in your work. And you know what happens if you get carried away with darks, you're in trouble. So I created this fantasy flower arrangement and I started off with this and then I took it to this. Neat, eh? Come and see. But before we go any further, I do have further discussions on this on my blog, and you'll see the post below. So come and have a look at the blog and come and have a look at what happens. Well, to start off with, I guess I started a little bit backwards because I did the background before I started on the foreground. I did several layers of lights, getting a little darker each time. I wasn't drawing anything in particular at first. I was just trying to suggest some flowers and leaves that would be in the background. Each layer was getting a little darker and darker as I moved closer to the center. My next move was just to get things painted, blocked out, and then I started to go darker and darker. I could see that things didn't stand out. It had a flat look to it. I wanted to see what would happen with some real sharp darks. Balancing that lights and darks has always been a problem. So as you can see, I started first just putting lighter layers in, laying things out, and then eventually going back and darken them. This is the case with the petals, with the rose, with the leaves on the side, just kind of experimenting with what worked and what didn't. At first, I put in some lighter layers. As you can see, I've suggested some leaves and things in the background. But then, as I put them in, I began to see that they were really doing something to the flowers. It was starting to bring them out and set them off. As those lighter colors dried, I went back and added another layer. Sometimes just suggesting leaves with some darks, not making everything dark. This is when I really began to see what the power of darks have. That dark value, it doesn't have to be big, it can actually be just a small little space, but it needs to be there. Look at the petals of my center flower, the rose. They all stand up. They seem like they're bright, standing out. And some of those leaves are now starting to bend and look interesting. They seem to have volume and depth. As I worked, I can see that things are starting to really pop. So keep that in mind. If things are not looking like you want them to be, touch up your darks. Maybe they're not dark enough. You don't have enough contrast. Have fun and enjoy your painting. Wendy teaches outdoor sketching classes in the summer, and she teaches in her studio and online throughout the year. Wendy produces original work in pencil and in watercolor. She completes commission work, particularly pet portraits, and produces cards and prints from some of her work.